Welcome. My name is Brinley, and today I'm going to be giving a speech on pollution. And here I have my audience. You guys can wave. Right now, your body is slowly dying, and if you want to know how to slow down this process, I will tell you, but by the end of this, you have to listen to the end of my speech. Everyone has at least heard of climate change once before, and a lot of people know that pollution is the reason that climate change exists. Today, I'm not only going to be going over what pollution is, but I will be going over the causes, effects, and solutions of it all. Before we get into the cause and effect stuff, let's get into what pollution actually is. There are 5 types of pollution, but today we'll be primarily going over 2 of these 5. The 5 main types are air, water, soil, light, and noise. The 2 we'll be covering is air and water pollution. According to a data quality report from 2019, they test air pollution by the amount of gaseous criteria pollutions assessed include carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. Unquote. And there's also water pollution, which is anything that affects the water quality, and this could be anything from trash all the way to chemicals. Now that we can know what pollution is, let's get into some of the causes of pollution. There are 2 ways that pollution occurs. There's naturally and then the causes by us humans. Naturally causes are any things that happen naturally in nature. These can be things like wildfires, smoke and ashes from volcanoes, and anything that happens along those lines. Man-made pollution, however, is anything that we as people do that affects our planet pollution. These things can be anything from emission from vehicles and factories, things as minor as littering, cigarette smoke, and aerosol cans. A quote from an article from National Geographic says, quote, "Most air pollution is created by people, taking the form of emissions from factories, cars, planes, or aerosol cans. Secondhand cigarette smoke is also considered air pollution." End quote. There are 2 ways that pollution can occur, naturally and then by us humans. Now that we know the causes of pollution, let's get into some of the effects. There are many effects that pollution has, and we will just be covering a few from both air and water. One of the effects from air pollution is climate change. Climate change is the biggest effect of air pollution, and it causes by a constant emission of greenhouse gases that causes the ozone layer to heat up and causes the entire climate to heat. This causes what we know as climate change. Air pollution can also affect plants and their ability to grow as well as live. A quote from UCIR, a Center of Science Education, says, quote, "Ozone pollution harms plants by damaging structures called stenomas, which are tiny pores on the underside of leaves that allows plants to breathe. Anything that has the inability to breathe will have a poor quality of life." Pollution also affects water, or water pollution also affects ecosystems. A quote from NRDC says, "In order to thrive, healthy ecosystems rely on a complex web of animals, plants, bacteria, and fungi, all of which interact directly or indirectly with each other. Ecosystems are a large part of water pollution, or a large problem that causes from water pollution. The chemicals that get let into the water kill off certain bacteria and allow for other kinds to grow. Allowing too much of one kind of bacteria will cause an imbalance in the ecosystems, causing it to not work properly. There's also effects on animals. Physical trash and chemical contaminated water has a great impact on animal life. Trash can cause defects on animals, causing them to die or live a shorter, disabled life. And of course, the chemicals in water contaminate and cause a disease that also affects animals and their ability to live, all of which shorten the animal's lifespan. A common misconception is that pollution only affects our environment. What people don't realize is that pollution also has an effect on us as humans. A quote from the Department of Environmental Protection of Massachusetts says, "People exposed to high amounts of levels of certain air pollutants may experience irritation of the eyes, nose, and throat, wheezing, coughing, chest tightness, and breathing difficulties, worsening of existing lung and heart problems such as asthma, or increased risk of heart attack." People don't realize that the pollution can also affect ourselves as humans and their ability to live. Now that we know the effects, We want to know how we can slow down and solve these issues. Just like there are numerous amount of problems that causes pollution, there are numerous ways that we can go about solving these issues. According to an article from the United States Environmental Protection Agency, some of the few solutions include carpooling, public transportation, ensuring that your vehicles are properly taken care of, and following directions when it comes to disposing gas and chemicals, recycling, and throwing away trash. Carpooling and using public transportation can help eliminate the emissions that we output by using our cars. And then always ensuring that your cars are properly taken care of and ensuring that they aren't leaking anything they aren't supposed to, which will prevent chemicals from leaking into the water, which is the same reason why we want to follow directions when we are disposing of chemicals. Things like lead paint, gas, oil, or anything along those lines. Anything that you would question on how to dispose of, a quick Google search can help determine on how you should dispose of it properly. And then, of course, the big two that we hear all the time is recycling and throwing away trash. Recycling is something small that we can do as people to help eliminate the amount of trash that goes into landfills as well as the ocean. And things as simple as throwing away trash and not littering not only avoids you a huge fine, but it can also help contribute to this issue. There are many ways that we can go about solving the problems that pollution can cause. Oops. In conclusion, pollution is a large problem that everyone deals with, even if you don't know it. But knowing now what pollution is, the causes, effects, and solutions, we know not only how to slow the process of us slowly dying every day, but also how to fix the problem and slow the problem of pollution in general. And these are my sources.